Carol Liu, Lowenthal, Negrete McLeod, Padilla, Pavley, Price, Rubio, Runner, Smidian, Steinberg, Strickland, Vargas, Walters, Wolk, Wright, Wyland, Yee.
Members, the absence of a quorum has been duly noted. The Sergeant-at-Arms is asked to please lock the doors and call the absent members. Will the Sergeant-at-Arms please call the absent members? Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist, Anderson, Berryhill, Blakesley, Calderon, Canella, Corbett, Correa, De Leon, DeSagne, Dutton, Emerson, Evans, Fuller, Gaines, Hancock, Harmon, Hernandez, Huff, Kehoe, LaMalfa, Leno, Ted Lieu, Carol Liu, Lowenthal, Negrete McLeod, Padilla, Pavley, Price, Rubio, Runner, Smidian, Steinberg, Strickland, Vargas, Walters, Wolk, Wright, Wyland, Yee.
Once again, the absence of a quorum has been duly noted. Will the Sergeant-at-Arms please call the absent members? Will all members of the Senate please report to the Senate floor? All members of the Senate to the Senate floor, please. Members, a quorum is present. Would the Senate please come to order? Could we ask that the members and our guests beyond the rail and in the gallery please rise? We will be led in prayer this afternoon by our chaplain, Rabbi Mona Alfi, after which please remain standing. We will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag by Senator Curran Price. Rabbi?
Good afternoon. We are taught in the book of Genesis that all of humanity descends from a single person. There are those who say that the Holy One did this so that no person could say, "My Father is greater than your Father." By this we are taught that we are all brothers and sisters, part of the same human family, with a shared destiny and shared responsibility for one another. May we be ever mindful of all that binds us, finding compassion in our hearts for all people, and treating each other with dignity and with respect. May this be God's will. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Senator Price. Members, under motions and resolutions without objection, Senate Rule 55 will be suspended to allow lobbyists on the Senate floor. Without objection, and seeing and hearing none, Senate Rule 55 will be suspended without objection. So ordered. Members, also under motions and resolutions, we have some folks who would like to adjourn in memory. Let me ask if the Senate will please come to order for that purpose. Senator Walters, for what purpose do you rise?
Adjourn in memory.
Let me ask that the Senate come to order. One moment, Senator Walters. One moment, please, Senator Walters. Members, if the Senate could please come to order. Senator Walters, please proceed.
Thank you. Gary Carter of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, died last week after a battle with brain cancer. He was 57. Gary Carter was born in Culver City, California on April 8, 1954, to Jim and Inga Carter. When Gary was 12, Inga died of leukemia. He attended high school at Sunny Hills High School in Fullerton, California, where he played football, starting at quarterback, infielder in baseball, and as a guard on the basketball team. He earned 11 varsity letters, still a Sunny Hills High School record. After receiving more than 100 scholarship offers for athletics, Gary signed a letter of intent to play football at UCLA, but instead signed with the Montreal Expos after they drafted him in the 1973 Major League Baseball draft. Inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in 2003, following a brilliant 19-year career, Gary is known as one of the greatest catchers to ever play the game. Spending the majority of his career playing for the Montreal Expos and New York Mets, Gary helped lead the Mets to a World Series championship in 1986 as he started a two-out rally in Game 6 that propelled the Mets to an improbable series victory in 7 games. After playing for the Giants, Dodgers, and Braves, Gary returned to Montreal for his final season. Nicknamed the Kid for his infectious smile and enthusiasm, Gary spent the past 2 seasons coaching baseball for Palm Beach Atlantic University. Gary will always be remembered by the love of his life, high school sweetheart and wife of 37 years, Sandy. He also leaves behind 3 children, Christina, Kimberly, and Douglas, his brother Gordon, and 3 grandchildren, Carter, Brady, and Elise, along with countless other family, friends, and fans who are blessed to know him.
Thank you, Senator Walters. Please convey the sympathies of the Senate to friends and family. Senator Corbett, for what purpose do you rise? Senator Corbett.
Thank you, Mr. President. To adjourn in memory.
Please proceed.
Thank you very much. It's with great sadness that I rise and ask the Senate to adjourn today in the memory of Father Donald McDonnell. He passed away last Friday at St. Rose Hospital in Hayward. Father McDonnell came to San Jose to work with the growing farm worker community in the impoverished area of East San Jose, known as Sal Cipuedes, a neighborhood that lacked paved streets, sidewalks, streetlights, and playgrounds. It was here that Father McDonnell established the parish of Our Lady of Guadalupe, where a young Cesar Chavez was among the first parishioners. Chavez said of this important time in history, "My education started when I met Father McDonald." Cesar Chavez and Father McDonald became fast and close friends who talked often about the economic and social injustice they saw, and they together strived to change it.
Members, if we could have quiet here in the chambers, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Father McDonald introduced Chavez to Fred Ross, and together these three began to organize the community. It was out of this effort that the farm worker movement was born. The original church building, where many of these early organizing meetings took place, has been preserved and has been designated as a historic landmark by the city of San Jose. Last year, on a vote of 38-0, this House passed a resolution memorializing that the National Park Service declare McDonald Hall as a National Historic Landmark. Members, please join me today in remembering this very exceptional Californian and honoring his many great contributions to this state.
Thank you, Senator Corbett. Senator Corbett, the desk advises me that they do need the name to be brought forward to ensure that the deceased is properly memorialized, and please convey the sympathies of the Senate. I believe, Senator De Leon, you wish to join Senator Corbett in this adjourn?
I do. I just was notified also as well that the Father McDonald had passed away. I had the pleasure and honor of being in McDonald Hall at Virgen de Guadalupe Church in East San Jose on San Antonio Road just recently with Assembly Member Jim Bell and Deacon Sal Alvarez from the Catholic Church on the issue of foster care when it comes to minority youth. At McDonald Hall, before the hearing took off, it was spoken eloquently about his contributions to the community, particularly the ones that you underscored, Ms. Corbett. And again, I want to join you in the journey in his memory.
Thank you, Senator De Leon. Members, we will go now to Senator Gloria Negrete-McLeod, after which we will call on Senator Curran Price, who I believe has an introduction under privileges of the floor. Senator Negrete-McLeod, for what purpose do you rise, Senator?
To adjourn in memory. Unfortunately, I have two adjournments.
Please proceed, Senator.
Thank you. Members, the community...
Senator, one moment, please. I apologize. Members, as each of us offers an adjourn in memory, we could ask that the members of the Senate please pay due respect, courtesy, for the loss that is being recognized. If there are conversations, if they could be taken off the floor, I know that each of the members presenting would appreciate it. Senator Negrete-McLeod, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, our community, the greater community in the Inland Empire, has suffered a great loss with the passing of Patricia Green of Rialto. She was my Woman of the Year here in the Senate. She was also a pioneer in helping bring an awareness of HIV and AIDS in the community, of the greater San Bernardino community. She devoted her life to fighting against the spread of HIV and AIDS and its stigma by encouraging people to get tested and educated. I have supported many of Patricia's events because she worked to save lives, and that's what we should remember and commend her for. So I ask that we adjourn in her memory. My second adjournment is that I would like to adjourn in memory of Joseph Romero, former police chief of the city of Pomona. Chief Romero began his career in law enforcement at the age of 14 as an explorer scout with the Pomona Police Department. In a career spanning 4 decades, he rose through the ranks to become the chief of police in 2006 and retiring in 2008. His lifetime of service includes the establishment of the City of Pomona's Community Engagement Group, active involvement in the California JCs, WeTip, the Pomona Breakfast Optimist Club, MADD, and the Boy Scouts of America. At the time of his passing, Chief Romero was a board member of the Pomona Boys and Girls Club. To his family, he was a loving husband, brother, and uncle. To fellow officers, he was a consummate professional, and to the city he served, he was a compassionate leader who unselfishly gave of himself for the betterment of that community. This native son of Pomona exemplifies what it means to be a hometown hero, and I ask that we adjourn in memory of both of these people that brought great service to my community. Thank you.
Senator Gray-McLeod, thank you. please convey the sympathies of the Senate as well as the thanks for service to community and to state. Senator Price, returning to privileges of the floor, for what purpose do you rise, sir?
Of introductions. Thank you, Mr. President and members. Today, we honor the accomplishments and the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen. African Americans, as you know, have played a significant role in U.S. military history, but few acts of heroism are as well documented as those of the Tuskegee Airmen.
Senator Price, excuse the interruption. If we could ask the services to make sure the volume is adequate. I think folks are having a little trouble hearing. Please proceed.
The Tuskegee Airmen were the first African-American military aviators in the U.S. Armed Forces. During World War II, African-Americans in the Deep South were still subject to Jim Crow laws, and much of the federal government at that time was segregated, including the American military. It was also widely accepted by the military brass that blacks did not possess the physical or mental capabilities to fight or lead in combat or operate complicated equipment, despite having already distinguished themselves in the Civil War and World War I. On April the 3rd, 1939, Public Law 18 was passed by Congress designating funds for training African American pilots. But it would be another 2 years before African Americans were actually given the opportunity to train as aviators in the U.S. Army Air Corps. Due largely to pressure by civil rights organizations and the black press, all African American Pursuit Squadron based in Tuskegee, Alabama was formed in 1941. They subsequently became known as the Tuskegee Airmen. The Tuskegee Airmen were subjected to racial discrimination both within and without the Army Air Corps. Despite these adversities, they trained and flew with distinction in North Africa, Sicily, and as bomber escorts in Europe. In all, 996 pilots were trained in Tuskegee from 1941 to 1946, with nearly half, approximately 445, deployed overseas. Many more served as mechanics, nurses, and technical support staff. Between 1943 and 1945, 450 Tuskegee Airmen were awarded more than 850 medals, including 3 Presidential Unit Citations, a Silver Star, a Legion of Merit, and 96 Distinguished Flying Crosses. 66 Tuskegee Airmen died in battle. Today, there were over 400,000 African Americans serving in the armed forces as an integral part of the defense of our nation. We owe a debt of gratitude to these brave Tuskegee Airmen who dared to follow their dreams. Armed with their bravery and determination, they soared with the eagles and flew into the history books of our nation. But despite their heroism and record of accomplishment and public recognition, these devoted servants would face considerable discrimination and prejudice at home and would not be formally recognized by their federal government until 2007. The Tuskegee Airmen Incorporated is a nonprofit organization with 55 chapters nationwide. And the California Legislative Black Caucus invites all members to attend an exhibit that is opened at the California Museum that will run through August the 7th, highlighting their heroism. Members, I'm honored to be joined today by distinguished members of the Sacramento chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen, named after Colonel George Spanky Roberts. Please join me in welcoming Senior Master Sergeant George Porter, Tech Sergeant Boyd Taylor, and Master Sergeant Judge Albert. They are accompanied by their families whose support was just as vital to the war efforts as contributions made by these airmen themselves. Please join me in welcoming the Tuskegee Airmen.
Thank you, members. We're going to wait a moment while Senator Price deploys his troops for a photo opportunity here at the front of the chambers. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me one more time in thanking the Tuskegee Airmen and their families. Senator Price, if you will escort your guests to the rear of the chambers, please. That's right. Senator Price, if you'll escort your guests to the rear of the chambers, please. And of course, without objection, we will allow photographers on the floor to capture the moment. Members, returning to the business of the session, we have messages from the governor which will be deemed read. We have messages from the assembly which will be deemed read. We have reports of committees which will be deemed read and amendments adopted. We do have one or two other items under privileges of the floor. Senator Ahlquist, why don't we wait just a moment as folks exit the chamber before we call upon Senator Ahlquist at Senator Steinberg's desk under privileges of the floor. Thank you for your patience, members. Thank you, Senator Ahlquist. Following Senator Ahlquist, we will call on Senator Cannella. Senator Ahlquist, for what purpose do you rise, Senator?
A member's resolution.
Please proceed, Senator Ahlquist. Members, if you could give your attention to Senator Ahlquist at Senator Steinberg's desk, please.
Over here. Thank you, Mr. President and members. My resolution is for Robert Hennessy of the San Jose Conservation Corps and Youth Build. The mission of the San Jose Conservation Corps and Youth Build is to provide youth with a quality high school education while teaching valuable work and life skills.
One moment, Senator. One moment, please, Senator Ahlquist. If we could ask the members to please give their attention to Senator Ahlquist at the rear of the chambers.
Thank you very much.
Please proceed.
Since 1999, young men and women between the ages of 16 and 24 have been trained in all aspects of construction while earning their diplomas. There are 30 youth-built sites throughout California where at-risk and adjudicated youth are empowered with the skills needed to both rebuild their communities and their own lives. The U.S. Department of Labor recently awarded $3.5 million in grants to California nonprofits that assist youthful offenders transition out of incarceration and into Youth Build. I am proud to say that Youth Build San Jose received $810,000 grant as part of this award. I am proud to present a resolution to my longtime friend, Robert Hennessy, the founder and executive director of San Jose Conservation Corps and Youth Build San Jose, in acknowledgement of the program's good work serving both San Jose's youth at risk and our community at large. And I'm very proud of our students who are here and all the work that they have accomplished. Please join me in congratulating Mr. Hennessy and our young people of San Jose Youth Build for a job well done.
Thank you once again, Senator Ahlquist. Members, we are still on privileges of the floor. Senator Cannella.
Yes, I would.
Okay. Senator Cannella will be recognized at Senator Steinberg's desk. For what purpose do you rise, Senator?
I'd like to take up file item number, I think, 64.
File item 64. Members, we return to the consideration of the daily file, and we will take up Senate third reading, item 64. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Resolution 25 by Senator Cannella relative to National Engineers Week.
Great. Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today to present SR 25, which celebrates this week as National Engineers Week. As a civil engineer, I'm proud of the achievements engineers have made throughout history, and I'm optimistic that the next generation of engineers will continue to achieve significant and necessary breakthroughs in the fields of math and science. Here to celebrate National Engineers Week with us are American Society of Civil Engineers Region 9 Director Fareed Pitawala, Professional Engineers in California Government President-elect Steve Lee, and American Council of Engineer Companies incoming President John Musazada. Please join me in welcoming these men as well as the many engineers they represent to the Senate floor.
If there's any debate or discussion, seeing and hearing none, let's call for a roll call on this item. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Ahlquist. I. Anderson. I. Berryhill. I. Blakesley. I. Calderon. I. Cannella. I. Corbett. I. Correa. I. De Leon. I. DeSaulnier. I. Dutton. I. Emerson. I. Evans. I. Fuller. Gaines. I. Hancock. I. Harmon. I. Hernandez. I. Huff. I. Kehoe. I. LaMalfa. I. Leno. I. Ted Lieu. I. Carol Lieu. I. Lowenthal. Negrete McLeod. I. Padilla. Pavley. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. Semidian. I. Steinberg. I. Strickland. I. Vargas. I. Walters. I. Wolk. I. Wright. I. Wyland. I. Yee. Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
Fuller. Lowenthal. Padilla. Pavley. Runner.
Ayes 35, noes 0. The resolution is adopted. Members, do we have other items under motions and resolutions? Motions and resolutions. Are there other items under privileges of the floor? Any other items under motions and resolutions? Any other items under privileges of the floor? Senator Price, for what purpose do you rise?
Announcement, Mr. President?
For purpose of announcement?
Yes, I'd like to, as chair of the Legislative Black Caucus, would like to invite you and staff to a historical presentation by the Living History team of the George Spanky Roberts chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen on Saturday the 25th at the California Museum. It's going to be an interesting program. All are invited from 1 to 3 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then, members, if there's no other business, Senator Steinberg, I believe the desk is clear.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I want to announce the schedule for the rest of the week.
One moment, please.
Thank you. Rapt attention, please.
Thank you.
There'll be first of all, there'll be a Democratic caucus immediately following session. It should be brief. And as members know, this is the slow time of the year when it comes to the floor because bills are now just being introduced and being processed through the committee structure, but I want to announce a very full week of committees this week. Immediately after this session, the Elections and Constitutional Amendments Committee will meet, as well as a joint hearing of the Senate and Assembly Health Committees and the Senate Budget and Fiscal Review Subcommittee number 3 on Health and Human Services, as well as the Assembly Budget Subcommittee number 1 on Health and Human Services. They will be discussing restructuring the behavioral health system in California. Tomorrow in the morning, Senator Wolk's committee, the Governance and Finance Committee, will be meeting with Senator DeSaulniers' committee, Transportation and Housing, for a televised hearing on financing affordable housing and local economic development. There was also a joint committee on fisheries and agriculture and a Senate committee on autism and related disorders that I will chair. In the afternoon, of course, there's a lengthy Rules Committee hearing at 1:30. Thursday, the Budget and Fiscal Review Committee will be meeting at 9:30 in the morning to discuss the governor's proposal on long-term care and Medi-Cal managed care. And finally, on Friday, there'll be another joint hearing of the Senate and Assembly Health Committees in Los Angeles on hospital reimbursement mechanisms, as well as an Agriculture Committee at 1 o'clock in the Valley. That's the schedule for the week. Session itself will resume Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, the Senate will be in recess until 3:30 p.m., at which time the adjournment motion will be made. We will reconvene this Thursday morning at 9 a.m. without objection. We are in recess.